What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Jayla, also known as the Brainy Bombshell, and today I'll be doing this fun and flirty eyeshadow look for you using just one basic palette and a couple of other fun accents like glitter and liner. If you are interested in discovering how I achieve this look, then please stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining me and enjoy! Alright guys, to get us started, we're taking the Juvia's Place Warrior 2 palette and a Pro Primer stick. We'll be using that. As you can see, I had a little trouble trying to make sure you guys could read it, but Pro Primer stick, we'll be taking that and then using it once we cue it up. It is one of the ones you roll up. You'll take that stick and you'll use it to prime the eyelid. You'll just kind of take it and spread it all over your eye. This really doesn't require anything special, no added rhyme or reason. You just want to kind of get it all over that lid, and then you're going to take your fingers and work it out to spread it to where you want it. I did not want this one all over up to my eyebrow. That was not needed. So notice I kept it kind of controlled as I began the process of working it in. Yeah, you want to make sure that it's nice and smooth, that the finish is smooth, because you'll be going over that primer with a translucent powder just to kind of set the primer. Alright, now we're grabbing a big fluffy brush. This one's from Juvia's Place, and I'm going to take it and dip it in some of that translucent powder just to go ahead and set that primer as I previously mentioned. Setting the primer allows you to have a non-sticky, smooth surface that you can then apply your eyeshadows on. Since I'm kind of going for a really strong pigmented look, having the primer definitely helps you execute that. Some people use concealer, but I personally like eyeshadow primer. I would just find it to be a nice clean base to give you a place to kind of start working in that shadow. Alright guys, we're going in now with our Juvia Warrior 2 palette in the color Dora or Diura, however you want to pronounce it. And we're going to take a nice, dense, fluffy brush, and we're going to use it. There we are, kind of zooming in close on the Dora color. Take it and kind of get it all over that brush. We're going to be going in pretty strong in the area of our crease with that color. It's like a nice kind of peachy, pinky color. We're going to work that in now and using like the slight windshield wiper motions, but I do believe that because this color is so strongly pigmented and we want to kind of go in so strong in that crease, you can even kind of go in with it and pat. This is a color that we will have to build up. So even as I'm kind of going in and putting that color down first, I'm coming out with a clean brush, and my goal is to blend it out. So we're going to kind of blend it, and that'll be kind of going on for a nice little minute. Alright, taking these two different brushes, one of which is more dense, the other one is a lot more fluffy. We're going to go in with these two basic colors. Going back to Diura, we're going to take that kind of dome dense brush, and we're going to pack it in that crease and then blend it out with the larger, fluffier brush. We're going to kind of keep that going until we build that color up effectively to a nice, vibrant shade that we're satisfied with. Alright, now we're going to finally get into that second shade, which is the maroon color, the deepest color we're using, Gemada. We're going to take that with a crease brush, and we're going to just kind of heavily apply it to the crease, going right over that transition shade, Diura, and we're going to just kind of like work it in, really intensifying it at the heaviest on the edges in the corner of that crease, and then of course taking the excess and kind of like working it over, just really emphasizing it, and once again kind of building this color up. You'll probably require at least 2 or 3 reapplications of it just to kind of work it up into that deep color. We're going to eventually be going in and kind of carving out the crease a little bit, which will then kind of delete or remove some of that deep shade. So you want to make it as pronounced as you can. All right, guys, so here we're just going to kind of continue in building up that deep shade Jamada, kind of going over that crease. In fact, I'm actually going to kind of speed through a little bit of this just to make sure we kind of get to the point. All right, guys, so now we're going to go back in with that first color, Dura, and we're going to kind of add that in on the upper part of the lid, kind of above where we put in Jamada in the deepest part of the crease. We're just going to add that in a little bit on the periphery just to make sure that that dimension of color is still represented. All right, now you see that we're adding that Dura in, I'm having to go back in and re-deepen that crease again with Jamada. So I'm going to take that and just kind of like pack that in the crease and then blend it out a little bit further. All right, so now we are over here and I'm looking it over. I've added in Jamada. I'm looking it by, and yep, it's blended the way that I want it to be blended. That's very good. I like it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with a CoverGirl concealer. This is my first time using this concealer, but in order to help me kind of like cut the crease some, and it's going to be like a winged crease, a winged crease, interestingly enough. So we got this color, this liquid concealer in the color medium, and this is the clean invisible concealer. There were things I liked about it and things I didn't, but it'll work for now. I have a pointy, kind of like a, what looks like it might be like an eyeliner brush, just like a sharp little wand. This actually ended up being an incredible lifesaver during this process. I have a flat brush that I'll use to kind of like blend out the concealer to help me kind of like create the little cut crease. So if you kind of keep watching, I'll actually keep it relatively slow for this part so we can kind of see how I achieve this feature. So I was actually a little nervous doing this one because I'm still trying to master my cut crease, but ultimately I was pretty satisfied with how it turned out. So I am taking just a little bit of the concealer straight off the wand that comes with the concealer, and I'm adding it to like the bottom of the lid, as you can see. Just kind of like lightly putting that product there, and it gives me at least a pool of product to pull from when I began to then use those other two brushes to spread out the concealer in an effort to create the actual cut crease itself. All right, it's really important that you don't get impatient with this part of the process. Like, this is like literally like the make or break of the cut crease. So as much as like the urge to want to just like slap it on there is present, I ask you to please just take your time, go extremely slow as you're like kind of building this up. I feel like it's easier to start really, really small and add more product than if you were to go on way too heavy, way too thick, and make the cut crease so strong that you don't even see any of like the beautiful blending you did prior to. So just kind of take your time. I found that the little thin kind of like eyeliner brush really helped me kind of like take my time and add product in a very, very incremental manner that wasn't too overwhelming for the process. I really, really strongly recommend this brush. I ended up buying it in a little set from Ross. It was just like a little synthetic little brush. Really a lifesaver for me as like a novice when it comes down to actual creating a cut crease. All right, so now we're actually getting into the winged portion of it. I'm taking that same little thin eyeliner brush and I'm dipping it in some concealer, and I'm going to like use it to create my guideline for my wing. Once again, kind of going very, very slow. I'm figuring out where I kind of want to use, make the line, and then I'm going to kind of go through and I have my guideline down, and then I'm going to just kind of like incrementally add product in an effort to actually kind of wing out this, use this concealer to wing out this wing cut crease. So once I have my guideline and my top line, I just kind of connect the two and then just kind of fill it in. All right, here you're going to see me like double checking just to make sure that the wings are even, that one is not longer than the other. So it just kind of, once again, just requires that, you know, kind of taking your time and just checking it out and looking it over and adding product as you need to. You want to have enough of it down as a base because ultimately we're going to go in with some shadow and then cover that concealer. So we're going to set the concealer with eyeshadow. Alright, so I'm going to kind of increase things here a little bit just to kind of speed it up a little bit. You'll see I'm just going over, and a lot of this is just wanting to make sure that I'm doing the precision work that's required to make this look as close to perfect as I can get it. You'll see me just going kind of back in, adding more product to make sure that the cut crease is as opaque as I can possibly make it. Kind of go in, adding more product here, just kind of going back over the already established crease just to intensify it, so that when I do begin to put the shadow down, it has a nice strong base to adhere to. Okay, so the hardest part is over. Now we're going in with the lightest color in the palette, which is Zazz. It's just like kind of like an off-white looking color, and we're gonna just like literally get a short, dense shading brush, and we're gonna just like pack on as much of the shadow as we can get, and then kind of go over that crease where the concealer was laid over and over and over again, the cut crease portion of it. You will see that we're going to do this a couple of different times just to make sure that the color is opaque. It will require a very, very, very patient hand and some precision. So I went with a shorter brush so I could have better control. So you'll just kind of see me here going in. And when I found out that the concealer was beginning to kind of do a little bit of, I'm not sure if it was like starting to kind of like crease, not just crease, it was kind of like it was flaking. It was doing some flaking. I went in with my finger just trying to make sure that I could really intensify that shadow on the lid as well as off in the wing. So you'll kind of see me repeating that process. Okay, so now that I've got the symmetry that I want in terms of the cut crease, I'm now going to begin the process of gathering up the glitter. Alright, so now we get into the benign glitter glue. I'll be using that very sparingly to attach the glitter. Alright, I'm dusting off the excess now, and I'm going to begin the process of going over the top of the cut crease and just very, very lightly putting a thin layer of the glitter glue. It's very, very fast drying, so I know I'll have to kind of go back and reapply portions, but I start off by just tracing the top line over the top of the cut crease itself, and that's going to create that nice adhesive base that I'll ultimately be attaching the glitter to. All right, now to go ahead and begin the process of attaching the glitter, I have this small little short brush here that we'll be using as the tool to actually apply the glitter onto the adhesive base we put down. I like this brush very much because it is short and it's sharp enough that I can take the glitter and I can very, very finely trace that line. It gives me a lot of control because it's not too wide. It allows me to kind of incrementally put that glitter onto that little base as closely as I would like and as closely as I can. It will, of course, require a couple of coats since it is so small. All right, so now you'll just kind of observe me kind of going through and adding the glitter onto the eye. Trying my best to get equal payoff on both eyes, but of course having to go in and kind of build the glitter up. Just like when we were doing the concealer earlier for the cut crease, it's always easier to start off with too little and then add on than to go in too heavy and then try your best to like clean it up or to reduce it. So that's kind of what you see me doing here. It's just kind of going in incrementally, using that small brush, tracing out the wing, and just doing so in a very, very systematic manner, just making sure that I have equal payoff on both eyes. All right, so upon closer review, I decided that I basically need more glitter. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to get the two glitters that I have, one of which is more fine and the other is a little bit coarser or a little bit more chunky. And I'm going to begin that process of trying to increase the amount of glittery shine that I have on the top of the cut crease. So you're just going to see me now going in and getting out the coarser as well as the finer glitters. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that benign glitter glue and kind of go back over the line up top and then kind of build that adhesive base to begin once again adding more glitter to the foundation. All right, so second to doing the concealer for the cut crease, this is like the most labor intensive. As you can see, I had to go back in and now add more glitter and more glitter glue to my right eye because it didn't have as many glitter specks as my left. And the whole time I'm kind of going in and I'm like looking and I'm assessing and I'm seeing what I need to kind of make those eyes balance. So in this process, just know that you might have to go over it a few more times for those of you guys who want a strong glitter shimmer payoff. Okay, I hope that is visible. Now I'm going to add a dark black wing and some lashes, and I'm going to go under and do my I'm going to do my waterline as well. I'm going to smoke that out with some shadow. For my liquid line, I have a LA Colors liquid liner. It's really black. I got it just from Dollar Tree. Nothing super expensive here. I'm going to always start at the end. I really light hand. Make that guideline. And then get a little bit more product. I'm going to go back in and try to keep it really thin. And just kind of color it in from there. It's a little thicker than that one. I'm going to clean that up with some concealer to make that a little bit sharp. I'm just going to take a flat brush, synthetic. I'm going to get a little bit of my MAC. What color is this? NC45. I'm just going to clean this up. That's a bit more than what I need for this. I'll make it work. Nothing will go wasted. Get a little bit of that. Okay, I thinned that out. Now I'm going to go in with one of my synthetic brushes. I'm just going to blend that out. Oh no, I just made a mistake. That's okay. Pretty forgiving. Ugh. Went a little bit too close to the line. So I'm going to go back in and basically darken that wing again with my liner. So going back in with the liner to fix that up a little bit. All right. Now, I hope you can see all of this, but I'm going to now try to get my under my waterline smoked out. I'm going to just use the basically two colors from this palette, this one and this one, the two that I used to begin with. And I'm just going to emphasize those with a shader brush. So to kind of make sure you can see what's going on here, I'm going to get, I have this little highlighter. I'm not even sure I got it like as a sample at Sephora, but I'm going to use a very, very thin, small brush and just get a little bit of this onto there. And I'm going to go over the waterline. I'm basically using it as a base, as a base to catch. Now I'm going to get a flat shader brush. Oh, here it is. Flat shader brush from Sigma. I'm going to start off with the coral color, which is Diura. And dust off the excess. I'm just gonna Alright, got that on there. Yeah, I feel like I need a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm going to take Jamada. I'm just going to smoke that out. Okay. That's that. So I have no foundation on. I'll make my foundation off camera and then I'll come back with the completed look. Okay guys, and I'm back. So this is the completed look. I went ahead and did my concealer, foundation, and the other lash on wait, I can't remember which eye was my first one. On this eye, I guess. I went ahead and added the lash onto the eye, and this is it. So hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial. I know we had a couple of little snafus, but that's okay. I love that makeup is one of those things that, just like life, you don't have to do it perfect. You can make mistakes and errors and correct them, and it still works out and ends up pretty darn pretty. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.